And on we go with 17th District Congressman Greg Steube here to talk about this week in Washington. And Greg, it has been an interesting week, has it not?
Every week in D.C. is interesting.
You're on the Oversight Committee.
Correct.
So you're part of this whole impeachment inquiry. It might be interesting to explain how this goes on. We're hearing a lot about the behind closed doors aspect of this. And it really is kind of like super secret stuff where all of this testimony is occurring, isn't it?
Well, and never before has an impeachment proceeded the manner in which it has. You know, a lot of us have complained about the fact that, look, if you're going to use precedent, let's do it the way Nixon did it, let's do it the way Clinton did it. You have a vote on the House floor, you establish rules for both parties, each sides have the opportunity to subpoena witnesses, to cross-examine witnesses, and that's not being done. So I think it's important for viewers to understand that all of this is being done in secret. And so any depot, as a member of the committee, if you're not a member of those committees, like you've seen some members go down there and try to get into the SCIF.
Right. Explain, just stop there. The SCIF. What is the SCIF?
So it's a sensitive, containerized information facility, I think is what it stands for.
So this is like
it's in the basement.
Media-free bubble.
It's a basement in the Capitol,
okay.
And you literally have to walk down 3 flights of stairs to get into there. And it's, you know, big, huge, thick doors. It's a classified environment. You have to drop the cell phones in a box when you walk in. Everything within the actual place that's taking place. You can take notes. You're not allowed to take those notes out with you because they become classified, so you can put them in like a file folder, but it has to stay in the SCIF. Nothing can come out of there. Which is interesting, though. You'll see things get leaked to the press within 30 or 40. Like I sat in the Sondland interview, and within 15 or 30 minutes, his opening statement and some of his remarks were already being publicized.
Now, when you're in this committee, do you get like a printed copy of remarks that somebody is making when they come to do a testimony like that? Is that typical?
If they are going to make their opening remarks public, they do. So like for Sondland, I got a copy of it and I was able to walk out with it because it was made public. But the real important information is when both sides start to question the witness. So after he gives his opening remarks, the Democratic staff have an hour to cross-examine the witness, and then the Republican staff have an hour to cross-examine the witness, and they literally go back and forth until staff has completed asking their questions, and then it can go to members. So then at that point, so that's why these depots take sometimes 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
Because if you want to stay to ask questions, you can. But again, it's staff first, and they go back and forth an hour on each side, and then members based on seniority. So the Democratic chairman will go first if there's things that he wants to ask. Then it goes to the ranking Republican member of the committee. And there's 3 committees that are taking part in this. It's Oversight, Intelligence, and Foreign Affairs. So it'd be the ranking members and the chairman, so that's 6 people right there, that would have an opportunity to ask questions that they felt like haven't been delved into, and then it goes by seniority.
You would be well down the list. Of
I'd be the 10 hours in, and by the time they get to you, your questions have likely been asked
and answered. So it progresses much the way you would see a committee that gets the big coverage, like.
Not really, because it's staff. It's not member. Okay. On TV, members are the ones asking questions, not staff.
Because you're the ones that have to go back and get reelected.
Yep, and during this process, it's why they think staff is more important than members to ask questions. I don't know, but that's the way the Democrats have structured it.
What's your gut on this? I mean, you're in some of these meetings. You're on the Oversight, Judiciary, and Veterans Affairs Committee, but obviously a lot of focus on the Judiciary right now. What's your gut telling you? Is this going to go forward?
I think what the Democratic chairmen will do, I think they'll cherry pick information that they want to include in so-called articles of impeachment. They'll use the testimony during these depositions, which originally Schiff had said that he was going to bring in the whistleblower, which he hasn't done. Now he's saying he's not going to do that. So I think they'll cherry pick information, put it in articles of impeachment, then that document would then go to the Judiciary Committee. But we, on the other side, including the President hasn't had the ability to have counsel to cross-examine witnesses during this time. They haven't had the opportunity to sit in any of these depositions. So I think at that point it'll go to the Judiciary Committee after they've drafted the articles of impeachment. Again, not the ability to cross-examine the people that are testifying.
If I'm reading the calendar right, we're potentially looking at an impeachment playing out right in the midst of the election season.
This is complete rumor, but I think they're trying to get it done by the end of the holidays. But before Thanksgiving, you've got 3 working weeks left. You have next week, we're back in D.C., and then we have a week back in the district, and then 2 weeks back in D.C. So if they're going to have to complete all this deposition and evidence collecting they want to do, then draft up whatever they're going to want on the article side, present that to the Judiciary Committee, which again, we still haven't had the opportunity. I can't even take, as a member of the committee, I can't even take that information to study it, to be able to cross-examine witnesses because the information is in the SCIF. And if I want to go in and view it, I can read it, but a Democratic staffer is over my shoulder watching me read it.
All right, you've come out of a military background. You've worked in top secret. You know, what's the purpose of keeping all of this so wrapped up?
Well, I believe the purpose for the Democrats was they saw what a failure the Mueller investigation and the Mueller hearing was.
Okay, all right.
So let's not put it in public, let the American people decide, because that didn't work out for them. So let's do everything in secret. Nobody has access to it. Cherry pick the information, not give the president and others the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses, and then just move something forward that people are just going to have to vote yes or no on.
We're really kind of splitting how we look at things because this is always going to be on the plate. This impeachment stuff is always going to be on the plate.
It's been on the plate since the Democrats took control.
And you know, but we've got you know, budgetary issues. We've got you know, military. Let's talk about that a little bit. The latest in Syria. You kind of went lockstep with the president on this. A little bit of a split from the other congressman here on the Sun Coast.
Yeah, I mean, I served in that region. I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. I have some experience in dealing with the different folks that we have over there in Iraq. You have within the Muslim community, you have both Shia and Sunni, which you have in Iraq. In the northern part of Iraq, which area I operated in, you have the Kurds in the Kirkuk area. I had the Iranian border, the Turkish border, and the Syrian border, so I have some experience dealing with some of these people. I support the president's role in trying to get our troops back. He went in, we destroyed the ISIS, we destroyed the caliphate.
You really feel like that has been taken care of?
And that's been, I mean, widely reported that Trump went in and took care of that. But now we find ourselves in Syria, and now Turkey, who's a NATO ally, coming across the border to do whatever it is they want to do to clear this buffer zone. And so we're in a tough predicament. You're in a foreign country in Syria, which we haven't declared war on. You have Turkey coming in, who's a NATO ally, and then you've got the Kurds, who, yes, we fought with some of them, but some of them are an identified terrorist organization.
The enemy of your enemy is not necessarily your friend.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting area to be operating in right now. If I was a service member, like I served over there, what is our mission and purpose to send our brothers and sisters in arms over there to possibly get killed in service of our country? What is the mission for them to be over there? Right. Becomes very challenging. And we've been over there for 18 years. I mean, I joined after September 11th, and we've been in Iraq, Afghanistan, and these areas for over 18 years. And I think it's time to bring our folks home. I think the president shares that ideal. As long as our nation is secure and safe, I think we can do that.
We'll see how that plays out. Veterans Affairs, another committee you're on. What's new coming out of that? Because we've always got a lot of interest here in this region, retirees and so forth, wanting to know, am I going to get taken care of? Are my vets benefits going to be there? And how's that going?
Yeah, I'm working on a true choice bill. So the last Congress passed what was called the Mission Act, which gave some choice, but it put a lot of parameters of time and distance from locations for specialty providers and that sort of things. I think it should be true choice. So if you want to go to a hernia repair doctor in Sarasota County to have your hernia repair, we're going to take care of it because the local clinic in the Sarasota-Bradenton area doesn't have that specialty doctor to take care of you that way, and you don't have to drive all the way to Bay Pines to do it. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at. We're going to be in Charlotte soon with the Sitterly, which is part of the VA, to talk to veterans there and try to work on what's best for serving medically our veterans' needs. And I don't think what's going on right now is doing that for them.
Alternative medicine, maybe even medical marijuana, that sort of stuff, looking toward that as well.
So I do have a bill, because we're a state that has approved medicinal marijuana. Veterans have had a problem, or definitely confusion, in the sense that they think they're going to lose their VA benefits if they take advantage of a state-approved medicinal marijuana program. So I actually have a bill right now that would codify current VA policy that if you're in a state that has approved medicinal marijuana and you are a veteran who's service-connected disabled, you will not lose your benefits at a VA provider if you take advantage of a state-approved program.
And that is a very big deal because losing those benefits would be such a deterrent to trying something that may help folks out.
I'm working on it every day. Every day I'm on the floor. I ask members for co-sponsorships. If you get so many co-sponsorships, you can get it on one of the agendas to be voted on. So that's one of the things that I think is important for the state of Florida. One, we have a lot of veterans that live here, and two, we have a state-approved medicinal marijuana program, and I think our veterans need clarity. And I don't think they should lose their rights and access to the VA just because they're taking advantage of a state-approved program.
Finally, you mentioned co-sponsorship. Any other bills you're working on to get through to make sure we know about, to hear what we think?
Yeah, we just filed a bill this past week. There's individuals that work in multiple states. In some states, if you work there for all of 24 hours, you're then having to pay income taxes to that state, despite the fact that you may live in Florida where there's not an income state, or income tax state. So we're passing a bill or working on a bill that would make it clear that you can't be taxed multiple times in multiple states. It's that one state that you primarily work in. So that's something we dropped this week.
All right. Thank you very much. Good discussion.
Thanks for having me.
Always good to catch up, and good luck going back up into the swamp next week. It's getting cool up there, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels good. It's nice.
A little bit of a change in the weather. All right. Greg Steube, thank you very much.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
your
me.
time.
Great to see you.
All right. Our